The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Tsuburaya Productions. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tokucast Reviews, episode number 174. Marcus and Jacob here to discuss violence.
No, we haven't gotten there yet. That's Ultraman Ace. This is Ultraman.
I think this one isn't too far behind.
Oh, Ace was... I've only seen clips from Ace, and I'm just like, stop! It didn't deserve that.
I feel like this with this show, too, sometimes. Goodness.
Yeah, Red Man all over.
But we are reviewing today the original Ultraman.
1966.
1966.
We might go back and do Ultra Q at some point. It's really not on the docket. But,
who knows?
Yeah, Ultraman.
Starting off with the opening.
It's a 60s opening.
It's a 60s opening for show.
Yeah. For show what?
10 comedy points.
Yeah, thank you. I greatly need those in my life. They mean everything to me. You don't know. But yeah. The original Ultraman.
It's Red Man with slightly more context.
Yes. It also looks...
That's really what it is.
It also looks very good.
I will say, yeah, the transfer that I watched...
Did you watch on the Shop Factory website?
New.
You watched it on YouTube?
Yes.
I did too.
I watched it on YouTube. The transfer that I watched, very clear.
Yeah.
And I will also say this. This is one of those cases where I don't think they ever intended for us to watch something like this on a TV this nice.
No, there are too many wires.
Because it's not just too many wires, but like suit technology and how that has evolved over the years.
Ultraman has so many heads throughout this show. He has, I think it's A, B, C, and D. And I think D is the one that looks the best. Everything else looks real crumpled on some parts of his face.
It's not just his face. His face can look really crumpled, but also the suit like bunches up in all the joints. It doesn't look form-fitting.
Well, I mean, we're, coming up on 60 years.
I know. I know there is like a certain pass you have to give it considering how old it is and the technology they were working with at the time. I will say the most interesting thing about this show is examining it as a piece of Toku history.
Yes, because
that
it like starts it.
Yeah.
When I was in Japan at the Toei studio, this is not Tsuburaya, Ultraman is on that wall of the timeline because that's really where it gets started. I mean, like, yeah, you have Godzilla, but Ultraman is just the grandfather of it all.
Now, throughout, since 1954, when the original Godzilla came out, there'd been other Godzilla movies. You'd been able to go to the movies and watch the big G stomp around on the big screen. But in 1966, for the first time ever, in the comfort of your own home, you could wake up in the morning and there on your TV, you could watch something like on the scale of Godzilla. You could watch a heroic big, figure fight a big kaiju.
And it's always one of those things to go back and just see things from that time frame because once again, the scale work.
Dude.
Yeah.
There is some incredible set design when it comes to the kaiju fights.
Yeah.
There is one in particular early on in the show where Ultraman is fighting a monster and they're fighting like next to like a river or reservoir of some kind. And I'm looking at this thing like, I'm looking at the water and the way the water is like flowing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they build in a soundstage a full-on like irrigated like waterway
it looks like
for Ultraman to fight just for Ultraman to fight next to and give a sense of scale?
Yeah.
That's incredible. It truly is like, whoa, I did not know I would see that kind of production value in this.
Yeah.
Just like going into the sets.
It's really fantastic to see a lot of the things for this show and just be like, oh, that's where this monster comes from. This is where Red King first shows up. You're gonna see a lot of things first showing up in this show. It's just like, oh, they haven't changed much.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, comparing Ultraman's appearance in this to how he appears in, say, Mega Monster Battle, and you see the similarities in his fighting style. And because in that movie, when they're fighting in the monster graveyard and Ultraman is just wrestling and like chucking monsters around and like doing flips and suplexes. And that's kind of how he fights in this one too.
They kept it real consistent when it ends up coming to Ultraman. Just like at least for character movement and I guess sort of characterization, they sort of keep it the same. Although it's weird hearing Ultraman laugh. I will say that. Just hear him just like randomly laugh and then show at a monster, just like, stop.
Please don't. It's like theme park mascots, never talking head.
It's not even that. It's like weirdly terrifying, and I don't know why. Something about Ultraman's just face being all super crumpled and going, oh, is just really scary to me, and I hate it.
Oh, boy. And then you have the rest of the show.
Yeah, we have the SSSP. Mm-hmm. This was the time framing of this show was later retconned. It was like supposed to take place in 99.
Oh.
And then they retconned it back to 66.
Seems like a good idea to me.
Yes. So that was like sort of the point there. But the SSSP, I did like them quite a bit. Wish the women got to do more.
I did not care for this group.
I thought they were like fine. So it's just
they are spaces to fill our heroic organization that is there to, protect humanity. But I found them so interchangeable.
Yeah, this is one of those things.
Honestly, if you put all of them in front of me right now, I don't think I could tell you which one was Ultraman.
I think this is one of those.
I mean, her, I can obviously tell you, no, it's obviously not her. But then it's like some of the guys.
She's the one woman.
But then the rest of them, and it's like they have the same build. They're all wearing the same outfit. They all have the same haircut, and it's just like I can't. It's like which one are you again? I don't remember your names.
I think the weirdest thing though is Toshio Muramatsu, who of course we know from Kamen Rider, because he was.
He's missing a pipe.
Yes, he is missing a pipe. But he's always in Kamen Rider. He was in the first couple of Showa Kamen Rider. It's just a thing. He's 36. I'm sitting here they treat the man like he is 54 at the youngest.
This is kind of a Japanese thing, I've noticed.
Especially back then.
Where they'll call somebody old man, but it's like, I'm 40. They do this, in, your beloved Yakuza games, they do this all the time with Kiryu, where they call him old man. It's like, Kiryu's 41. He's not old.
To be fair, he has old man energy.
he's got old man strength energy.
Yeah, and so does Muramatsu here. He has old man energy, and just seeing him in this before he ends up playing in Rider by 5 years.
Yeah,
it's just it's one of those things.
Yeah, getting his start in the genre, one of the genre's first regulars, you could say.
It's honestly, he's in the first two.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it's such a, I guess, sort of a monumental thing, especially for this actor. It's just I was there at the beginning for both Ultraman as it is, not really talk about Ultra Q, but Ultraman as Ultraman, and then Rider as Rider. It's just, he was there.
We actually have, because this is the first time we had Ultra Q before this, but Ultra Q doesn't have a character.
Yeah.
If it's anything like Neo Ultra Q, which we have reviewed, there's no central character to build our story around.
Characters.
And in this one we have the SSSP, we have Ultraman, and then in Kamen Rider we have Kamen Rider and we have Tachibana. We have central figures with which to build our story around.
He was in the Zayarth parody chapter as his character from Rider. That's funny.
Interesting.
Eventually we'll go and watch Zayarth, but yeah. Because we've seen him. He was in the web specials that we watched. Absolute Conspiracy and all that good jazz. But yeah, this show is just it is great that Shin Hayata himself, the actor, still around. He still shows up in Ultra projects every once in a while. He's in his 80s. But yeah, it's just good to have, I guess, the longevity, because the actors for pretty much every Ultra are just I'm coming back. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
Yeah.
So you're asking. Oh, you're not asking? I'm here anyway.
Couldn't help it. I just wandered onto set. I felt the magnetic pull
of Ultra
from the land of light.
No one said no. So they're just oh, well, I guess he has lines now. This show itself, it's great to see all the monsters where they started off with. I'm really happy that
one of them is just straight up Godzilla with a frill on his neck.
It is. a lot of these monsters have, I'm not going to say retire, but are being used less with these, with Blazer and Arc. Arc is doing a lot more new monsters as well. And I'm just like, good, we need new classics. So, yeah, it's just good to see this is where Zeton comes from. Red King, as we mentioned.
Which we just watched Shin Ultraman last year. So it's interesting to see some of the things in this. Some of those beats get repeated and how they were repeated later on in the remake that we got last year.
And then, you know, Ultraman comes down. This is really how a lot of them starts, you know. Person dies, Ultraman sees them, is like, I'll save you. And then they become one being. And in this case, they end up going back to the Land of Light at the end of the day because Zolfi said, you need to come back now. It's also just good to see sort of how Bear
Zolfi shows up, kind of taps his watch.
We got things to do. You're part of an elite guard. Come on now. It's also good to see sort of how bare bones things are because we've gotten used to a lot more multiverse and things and now.
That's honestly kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I mean,
to not have something from another universe show up and just let it be itself. That was one of the things I loved about Blazer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like Blazer is just Blazer. And it's good to see since we're at the beginning more or less. Just like, oh, this is what it is. And this is Ultraman punching a hole through somebody. Or ripping it off. He ripped the frills off of one of the monsters.
That was the Godzilla monster.
Yes, he legitimately did.
Yep, that happened.
And I'm just like, oh!
The violence in the show.
I clutch pearls.
It truly is Redman, but with like slightly more context.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the monster is actually going to do something bad.
That's the main thing. The monster is actively doing something and not just standing there eating.
But I tell you, if you blink, you will miss that. And sometimes it doesn't even seem like the monster's doing anything.
Yeah,
it's just up in the mountains somewhere, just like stomping around doing stuff, or they're just fighting each other.
Or like,
and then Ultraman shows up and just brutally destroys them.
Red King. That's Red King's first episode where they're on that island. I'm just like, y'all, they didn't deserve that. What's happened? I mean, yeah, I understand. At least Pigmon is in this, in that same episode. Yeah. And that's like sort of, I think it's the second appearance of Pigmon. But Pigmon's just there to help.
Just like the shots of the monsters like in pain. There is a lot of that. And bleeding and just like screaming in pain after Ultraman like rips a piece of them off. And then Ultraman just kind of stands there while they just writhe around like, oh my god! Oh, this is so painful! Oh, this is what pain feels like!
And the kids are just like, finish him! And I'm
saying, unless it's the drawing episode where they're like, Ultraman, stop beating up our drawing! He's not doing anything!
Did you do that in Blazer? Yes! It was that Wish episode.
I think so.
Where like, it was like that big white blob.
Yeah, it was like the same monster, I think.
I believe so. And it's just like, well...
It was a drawing come to life, and then it gets like bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Which I think in Blazer they resolved differently. Because in this show, Ultraman just straight up kills the monster.
I think in Blazer they made it become a constellation or something.
Might have been something like that. Yeah. It was like a non-lethal means of pacification, as opposed to this where it's like, I only know death, death, death. Death.
I only know death. Your death.
Death. You exist. Die.
No, you don't. Such a show. What?
5 comedy points.
Yes. It sustains me. But yeah, it's a show. You know? It's good to see where things get started. And I would definitely suggest just watching it on that merit alone. But it's one of those things where, and this is why I'm so hesitant on going back and doing these, because sometimes you're really in the mood for a story, and that doesn't start happening until the 80s.
We all seek entertainment for different things.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is much more interesting as a historical piece of history, a piece of Toku history, a piece of Japanese television history. Yeah.
It's actually sort of, at this point, sort of a piece of world history.
Yeah.
Like, if we did not have that, you know, we wouldn't have a lot of the live action.
Shit, Ultraman got a, U.S. release last year.
We probably wouldn't have Rider in the way that it is. We really wouldn't have Super Sentai and Power Rangers. So it's just like, thanks to Ultraman, this is the reason why we do have it.
This is the start.
Yeah.
And yeah, piece of history. It's interesting to watch. As a show itself, no, it's not good.
It's funny for violence. It's just like, why? And that's why I'm really excited for us to get to Ace, because of why. But
You've told me things about Ace where, like, he decapitates a monster, the monster is dead, and then he blows it up.
it's just like, but I guess that's what they get for being horrible monsters. That's literally, I believe that's their name in Ace.
The horrible monsters.
And you're just like, okay.
Camera pans over to some baby monsters. They're like, Daddy, please wake up. And then Ultraman zaps them too.
None of you left. Entire family line. Gone. But yeah, that's Ultraman. It's a fun show. It's fun. It's fun for historical purposes. What's next? I legitimately have no idea.
That's a good question. Let me pull it up.
I
I believe it's the Kikaider anime. And I am right.
Kikaider anime.
Yes.
We're doing that, and we're doing Metal Heroes after that.
We're doing Inazuman next after that.
Damn it.
Our next metal... so, as of now, our schedule is looking like Kikaider anime, then Inazuman, then Dynaman, and then Soul Brain is our next metal hero.
Okay, so we got Dynaman first, and I've been watching Dynaman, and I've been enjoying it. So yeah, let us know what you think of the original Ultraman in the comments below. Let us know what you think about the Kikaider anime, if any of you have seen it.
Please do.
Don't forget to join us all the things. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.